help improve your quality of life. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Dr. Grant Smith. Dr. Smith is a palliative care physician and clinical assistant professor of medicine. He provides direct patient care while pursuing his academic and educational interests, improving patient-centered care across settings, increasing access to palliative care, and promoting clinician well-being. Throughout the talk, please enter any questions in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. And at the end of the talk, Dr. Smith will answer as many of those as possible. And Dr. Smith, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Jillian. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And to everyone who's logged on, thank you for joining tonight. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm really excited tonight to talk about living your best life, how palliative care can help improve quality of life. As Jillian said, my name is Grant Smith, and I'm a palliative care doctor here at Stanford. And in my clinical roles, I see patients both who are admitted to the hospital, as well as patients in our outpatient palliative care clinic. Before we go on, I just want to point out a few resources that are actually here on this title slide. And the first is I've included our department's website. And there you can find a lot more information about palliative care, the clinical services we provide, and even some more events that we have coming up that are open to the public and free that you can learn even more about palliative care. We also have our Twitter handle. So those of you who are on Twitter, you're welcome to follow us there, where you can find more information about what we're up to and additional events we have coming up for the public. Again, thank you again to the health libraries for hosting us tonight. It's so great to be here. In terms of what we'll cover this evening, we'll start by talking about, well, what is palliative care? And then we'll talk more about when and how someone can benefit from palliative care. And then we'll spend some time towards the end talking about the difference between palliative care and hospice. Again, as Jillian mentioned, as questions come up, please feel free to put them into the Q&A section, and we'll take time at the end to answer those. I'll also have a few places where I'm interested to hear your thoughts, and you can use the chat box to enter your thoughts so I can see those as well. So questions in the Q&A and communicating with me about your thoughts about some questions I'm going to ask you into the chat box. So we'll start with one of those exercises now. And I'd love to see in the chat from you, what comes to mind when you hear the term palliative care? I think this is sometimes a word that we don't always know what it is. There can be a lot of different things that come to mind, but I'd love to hear some of your thoughts in the chat. And while you're working on putting those in, I'll go ahead and show you what Google image search will tell you about palliative care. And if we look at this, apparently, according to Google, the main thing we do in palliative care seems to be having a young person hold the hand of an older person. And I think really, unfortunately, in these images, it would lead you to believe that palliative care appears to only be for white or Caucasian people. And I really hope that by the end of this presentation, we'll all be able to understand that palliative care, while we are more than happy to hold people's hands, both physically and metaphorically, that we also have more to offer than that. And we certainly want to be serving a broad and diverse group of patients. So let's see what some of you all said here in the chat. And I see that someone had said this is the step before hospice. That's a great idea. And I hope that tonight we'll talk more about how hospice and palliative care can work together